Hello teachers, this video is going to provide an overview of how I set up one of my classes. So it might prove helpful for you, and it's just a thought that I had occur to me. So the first thing I always do is make sure that I have two different tabs of Buzz open. That way I can refer back to other courses without having to come in and out of the editor in the course I'm working in. So I've already gotten all of my courses set up here. The last one I need to do is Women's Studies. So first we're going to just go through an overview of what I have in some of my folders. So when you come into a course of mine, I always use the landing page for different, just like announcements or messages I want to make sure the children read. Usually I have pretty good luck if I include a meme with them actually at least glancing through that information. Then you can see that I have the Before You Begin folder. I went ahead and edited it to say required, important, must read, and it's all of the material that you all have in that folder. Then in the Getting Started, that's just all the generic stuff that comes with the course, like the syllabus and whatnot. And then under Course Information and Resources, same, I put that same missive behind it. And in that folder, I have these items. So there's my instructor introduction and contact info. Then there are the course policies. And then the course expectations. It's basically just a condensed version of the first page. And then the course schedule. So it's really helpful to put this like this table of what's due and when it's due into your course, because the to-do list only populates weekly. And also if you keep some content hidden or unpublished, so you can kind of keep the kids all working at the same speed, providing them with this schedule is really, really useful. And then the student introduction discussion. This is the first assignment students will do, and it is due on the first week of classes on Saturday. I keep all of my due dates to Saturdays. So then we're going to look in the course that I need to go ahead and set up and look at the steps on how I get all of that stuff into this course, and all of these courses for that matter, quickly and efficiently. So we're going to jump right into the editor. And the very first thing I'm going to do is say add activity. And then I'm going to come to the library, and I'm going to come into Colorado DLS, and I'm going to come in to the last class I was working on, which is theater and film production. And then I'm going to take that whole folder with my personal information, the stuff I tailored, and I'm going to copy that in the course. And it's going to pop up down here at the bottom, and then I'm going to grab it and move it up to where I want it to be. And then once it's sitting there, I'm going to go ahead and delete this folder because I don't need it anymore. Then I'm going to expand that folder and just make sure that things came in correctly. So my instructor contact information, everything we looked at previously is dropped in there now. And the only thing I need to do is to remove the course schedule because I'm going to be creating the course schedule for this course instead of theater. So I'm going to delete that PDF. And then the next thing I'm going to do is come over to the scheduler. You can see that that student introduction discussion, since it had the due date of the 9th in the library, it just went ahead and came over with the due date of the 9th and all of those settings. So now I'm going to expand these folders. You can see in this class there are 8 units. So that basically equates to 2 weeks per unit. So this is how I split my coursework. I'm going to say that the first 2 assignments are due on the first week, and then the second 3 are due on the second week. I'm going to keep going through and scheduling out my course using this drag and drop feature until I get to the end of all of the content. You can see the system makes it really easy to remember where you're at, because as soon as you place it, those due dates are placed. Okay, so once I have everything scheduled out, I'm going to briefly look through and make sure that I've left my spring break open. So I've done that, and everything looks like it's pretty good. I'm going to scroll up and down here, make sure that my due dates look good over here. Everything's looking pretty awesome. So then the very next thing I'm going to do is come into the activity list. I'm going to click on the activity list, and I'm going to filter by assignment, and I'm going to check box all of those items. Click on bulk edit, allow late submissions, always. And then I'm going to do the same thing with assessments. Check box all of them. And then allow late submissions always. And then discussions. Check box all of those. And make sure I allow late always. And then update. Then the very next thing I'm going to do is come back to the scheduler, and I'm going to open up all of these folders so I can see the due dates. And then I have a document that I'm going to duplicate that has the table that's built on it. Since I have all of my due dates on Saturdays, so students get, that full 7 days and they can self-pace, I can pull up my public speaking table, and I'm going to duplicate it. And then I'm going to rename it, whatever I want to rename it. And then I'm good to go. I can change those items really quickly. Next to the dates, and change it here. So I'm working on women's studies, and then so opening all of these folders shows you all of your due dates next to each of those things. So I can come in and change for the 16th, I can change that to active movie viewing assignment, critical thinking Dropbox, and so on. I always put my midterm and important dates, like super, important dates, in red and bold them. And we always take a little bit of time to have some catch up at the end of the course. I'm not going to go ahead and stay on while I do that, but I will go ahead and show you how I add that PDF. So I'm going to go ahead and export it to PDF, and I'm going to leave it on the desktop since that's the easiest place for me to find it. So when I get done building it out, I'll come back over to the syllabus, and I will come to the folder that I want it to be in, the course information resources, the plus sign, and then I'll just simply call it a file attachment since it's a PDF. And then I'll say women's studies, and then I'll open it, and then I'll put it in there. I always put this, the next item ahead of the student intro discussion. And I always keep my intro discussion in the folder with these important things that they need to look at. So then last thing I'll do is come over into activities and just make sure that everything looks good by expanding my folders and making sure everything is in there. And then voila, I am done completely setting up this course for the semester. So hopefully this video is helpful for those of you who select to watch it. And if you have any questions, you know how to find me.